We are at a turning point, a hyper-evolutionary stage where the antiquated institutions that continue to grip the human condition will be released into the forgotten abyss. A modern era in science and compassion exists just beyond the fog. It is a white light and beacon directing our steps as we move steadily forward. If we are to utilize the benefits of this new era, we must prepare prior to our arrival and learn the challenges we face as a species and apply the knowledge systems humanity has constructed to address them. Just look at how far we've come. 100,000 years ago, a mere minute in the cosmic year, we had virtually no understanding of our place in the universe. Clans of primates hunting and gathering using only the simplest tools, with a rudimentary language of grunts that communicated a means to eat without getting eaten. The agricultural revolution brought with it stability, security, and leisure time. But with the concentration of populations came the concentration of power and wealth. Theocratic regimes took the reins of progress. Teachers were declared enemies of the state. Scientists were burned at the stake. Time seemed locked away as the keys of logic and reason were guarded by the totalitarian authorities. As the human experiment seemed on the verge of failure and a uniform persistence of abject superstition and misery gripped its outlook, the single most important advancement in the entirety of human history occurred as an apple fell upon the hand of a young man in Britain. This individual was, of course, Isaac Newton, and this particular event led him to design the system on which all modern scientific thought is based, the scientific method. Finally, there existed a means to categorically analyze and comprehend the natural world. The veiled lenses of tradition and chauvinism were lifted. Even the Pope, considered an incarnation of God on earth, was challenged by the emerging theories of heliocentrism and a spherical earth. Galileo was forced to recant. Copernicus was violently ridiculed and persecuted. Nevertheless, not even the almighty kings and cardinals, like children building walls to defend their sandcastles, could prevent the tides of change. An explosion of ideas led by the invention of the printing press was unleashed onto the fingertips of the common classes. A community of scientists formed around the democratization of knowledge, who could easily communicate their discoveries through the establishment of widely disseminated scholarly journals. The coming scientific revolution shattered deeply held superstitions and built the foundation for modern physics, astronomy, biology, medicine, and chemistry. In the hands of an ever-expanding scientific community, the scientific method and the peer review process became the fundamental tools for discovery. And through those centuries, as childish politicians played their games of war and power and prestige, the adults were working tirelessly behind the curtains to drive us forward. We tend to believe the tenets behind the Zeitgeist movement are very unique and original. But the truth is, not only can there be a historical basis for all the ideas presented in Zeitgeist, but every thought in your head was placed there by someone else. The notions of individualism and the self-made man are defeated when one recognizes that they were born on the shoulders of the past. Once these principles are understood, an idea begins to manifest itself within the individual. The idea that if I am able to grasp these concepts, then everyone I share them with will also be able to understand them and become impassioned by them. An overwhelming desire to spread educational materials, to inform friends and family members about one's new worldview takes hold. Then something completely unexpected occurs. In the face of all of the evidence, in defiance to the scientific facts, they refuse to update their views. A willingness to remain ignorant may be rooted in general apathy to intellectual matters, but most likely the origin lies in self-identification. If for one's entire life they are told that the earth is flat, and some congregation reaffirms the idea that the earth is flat each Sunday, they will possess and relate to the identity of a flat earther. It does not matter how many mathematical formulas or pictures or other piece of evidence you show them. They will laugh at your insane round earth theory. In fact, a scientific survey was taken in the United States that asked participants if a religious belief you have was in direct contradiction to a 100% proven scientific fact, would you continue to believe or would you accept the fact? 60% of the American public said they would continue to hold on to their delusion. So, we pass out DVDs, we organize events, ask friends to view the movies, we dedicate our time. We put in enormous efforts to educate our peers, and at the end of the day, we have little to show for it. The Republicans call us liberals in status. The liberals in status call us hippies and anarchists, and the hippies and anarchists call us industrialists and anti-human. Almost every political-minded person has already found a pre-existing niche within political circles and rejects change. Therefore, at the end of the day, we feel let down and discouraged. We fall out of contact with members, and we continue living day by day, just waiting for everything to go to hell. I have witnessed this cycle occur over and over, and I've learned that we must resist the urge to use unfounded optimism as a primary motivation. Do not expect to pass out a few DVDs and inhabit a resource-based economy by the end of the week. Now, I'm not saying that these activities, such as spreading educational materials, protests, demonstrations, or even occupations are entirely useless. In fact, I find them very enjoyable. Nevertheless, there is a reason the movement does not support protesting or invest all of its resources in achieving critical mass. The reason is that we are not trying to destroy monetarism. Although, even if that was the purpose, these forms of activism have very little effect on that goal. Instead, we are simply attempting to generate the economic conditions in which monetarism eliminates itself. So, what can we do as activists to contribute towards this goal? We can invent, we can create, we can design, we can build, and we can share. The development of the 3D printer was a greater blow to our current economic system than every major protest against capitalism in the past. The sharing of free information via the internet has revolutionized our society more than any indie media company or think tank ever could. If our aim is the actualization of the next stage in human evolution, we must recognize that technology drives history. A major difference between our movement and those with political ends is the way we implement direct action. Our protesting entails the implementation of efficiency and sustainability in technical development. While political groups demonstrate on the streets, we demonstrate chemical reactions in the laboratory to our associates. While black blockers damage corporate buildings, we create self-sufficient buildings. Our picket sign has been replaced by our notebook, and our Molotov cocktail is now a pen. We occupy a section in a scientific journal. It is not by random chance that many of us were reaching the same conclusions presented in Zeitgeist prior to watching the movies. Around the world, people are independently working towards the same direction of a scientific-based society under other organizations. Never before has our technology advanced so quickly. Every facet of our lives is being enhanced and made easier through these inventions. Many in the West live more prosperously than even the greatest monarchs of a few hundred years ago. Nevertheless, there is a darker side to our machinery. Bioengineering can be used to save lives or destroy them. Lead can be made into pencils or bullets. Technology is but a tool that's direction is pushed by our values. From a young age, we are taught to be competitive and divisive, to value self-preservation and materialism. We are taught to despise those that are different and to blindly accept doctrine from our superiors. Our self-serving values and selfish goals influence how technology is utilized, distorting potential benefits and causing unnecessary pain and suffering. The decisions we must make to survive do not rely on the left or right of the political spectrum, but on what is right or wrong, on what actually works. Therefore, a seemingly impossible situation stands before us. The exponential rate of technological development gives our bad decisions more impact to damage our planet and our health. So how do we ever hope to educate enough people to use technology in a responsible manner? We cannot. And the point is that we do not have to. This is because access to modern technology itself is an educating force. Borders and differences are broken down when one chats instantaneously with someone on the other side of the planet. It is predicted by 2020 a majority of humans will have access to the internet, a network containing the sum of human knowledge. Imagine what these new minds will contribute and learn. Every year IQ tests must be re-standardized to keep up with ever-increasing IQs.